What is up, harvesters? Welcome back to the subscribers, and if you're new here, welcome to Hobby Harvest. My name is Ken. So today I want to talk about my August deer hunting checklist. These are the things I'm out here today doing myself. I just want to share them with you guys because it's a great time to get these things done because we're quickly approaching the time of year when we don't want to be putting too much pressure out here in the woods, and we really want to make sure we get these things done before that. So I'm going to cover 7 main topics in this video, and the first is going to be switchgrass. So that switchgrass should look really good this time of year. If you are dealing with some broadleaf competition in it, now is a great time to spray some 2,4-D on that to take care of those broadleafs. But if you have other grasses competing with that switchgrass, you can get that last mowing in right now. Ideally, you would want to do that about the middle of July, late July, but you can still do it early August. If you're watching this video when it first comes out, you still have a chance to get in there and mow that switch. It is going to grow more in the month of August than it grew all of the spring into summer so far. So it's a great time to get it mowed, get that other grass cut down. That other grass will not grow at that same rate, and you will be left with a great stand to switch going into the fall hunting season. Now, the second thing I want to cover is stand placement. So it's a great time of year to get out in the woods, get those stands set up, get those limbs cut out of the way to get that really snug up to the tree how you want it. It's also a great time to get up in those stands and into your blinds. Get those shooting lines cut. Now, I don't believe in shooting lanes. I believe that deer do not like them. They'll just crisscross them. You're not really going to have an ideal opportunity at them. They will avoid those if they can. But what we do want to make sure is that you do have shooting lines. So a line of sight to a specific shooting area from your stand or your blind. You really want to focus to make sure those are open. A lot of branches and leaves and whatever have grown all summer and have maybe blocked off some of those that you had last year. So now is a great time to get in there, get those cleared out as well. We will have some more growth, so you'll want to do that again before opener, but now is a great chance to get the majority of that cutting done. And so then you'll be all set. You'll have those stands up. If you have blinds, it is also a great time to get in there, make sure that they're clear to wasps' nests and whatever. That's something I just had to take care of. If you have carpet in them, it's a great time to check to see that that's all right as well, because a lot of times the mice may have eaten that up on you, so it's a great time to replace it. Just check out that they're safe. You might have to do a little bit of repairs to make sure that they're safe going into the hunting season. Make sure the frogs are out of them. Yep, you heard that right. I found a frog in one of my blinds this year. I've never seen that before. You know, if you guys have found anything weird in your blinds when you're going to clean them out, let me know down in the comments. That was just crazy that there was somehow a frog in there this year. So the next thing we want to talk about are your fall focused food plots. So we want to make sure we're getting those seeded coming up here. A lot of you guys should be seeding in August. I'm going to be doing that probably next week and the week after for my food plots in Wisconsin. You're also going to want to make sure that lime and fertilizer is down in them so that you have everything going for you in your favor to make sure that those come up as lush and as beautiful as possible so that they're as attractive for the deer herd as they can be. And of course, we always want to seed in front of a rain, so just be watching the weather here now that we're in August. If you got a chance to seed because there's a big storm coming through, I would get that seed down sooner than later. You never know if we're going to hit a drought, although August is typically one of the wettest months. For those of you that want to check out some of the more data-driven stuff, I did a video on utilizing every drop of water you get on your food plots. You can go check that out after this. That's a very data-driven video. There's a lot of graphs and charts and stuff in there if you guys want to go check that out. But yeah, just always make sure that you're planting in front of a rain if you can. That's always going to be the best bet for you. So fourth, I want to talk about trail cams. So it's a great time to go check on those trail cams, get them out in the woods if they haven't been out already. Make sure those batteries are fresh on them, those cards are performing correctly. Make sure that whatever you have them on, if it's like a mock scrape or if it's a water hole, that those mock scrapes are up and running, that they're cleaned out, that those water holes are full. Make sure there's no branches that are going to set off the camera unexpectedly, because again, the same reason why you wanted to clean those shooting lines out is because stuff has grown all summer. So again, you might have a favorite place to put your trail cams, but stuff has probably grown up. So get those clipped out of there so they're not setting off the camera. Get those mock scrapes in, get those mock scrapes cleaned up, and just great time to make sure everything is up and running before we head into season here in a little over a month, and that's going to come a lot faster than most of us think. So it's just a good time to get ahead of all of this stuff. And then we're going to get on to number 5. So number 5, I want to talk about bedding areas. Now, ideally you worked on those bedding areas more in the winter or the spring, but now is a great time to go check on those bedding areas you did create back then and just take a look at them. Are there any places that there's maybe some open sight lines you weren't anticipating? Maybe some of that undergrowth didn't grow up how you wanted it to. You can go in there now and just kind of do a temporary fix by dropping a few more trees in there, just create some more clutter on the ground to cut down on sight lines that you weren't anticipating being there. And you can do this with like your hunter ingress and egress as well. Anywhere on your property that you want to cut down on sight lines that whatever happened with the summer growth this year, that it just didn't grow how you were anticipating it. Now is a great time to get out there, get some trees on the ground, get some branches in the way so that once we are headed into the season, we have those sight lines cut down on. You're not seeing deer aren't seeing each other in certain areas of your property where you're not wanting that. And again, we're just doing all of the stuff that's going to make a lot of noise and a lot of ruckus. This is kind of our last chance to do that, because once we get these food plots in, we're going to kind of want to let our properties sit without a lot of commotion on them, because we're going to be getting into the hunting season very quickly here. So 6th, I want to talk about shooting your bow. And of course, if you gun hunt, you can do that a little bit later, but you're going to want to consider doing that as well. Now, when a lot of guys shoot their bow, yes, it's good to practice and get consistent first. But once you start shooting, make sure you're taking the actual shots that you're going to take when you're hunting. I see a lot of guys will just, go outside their garage. They have a target set up in their yard and they just shoot at their target at whatever distance it's at on a flat level trajectory for that arrow. When they're hunting though, they're 20 feet in the air and the deer they're shooting at's only 10 yards away from the bottom of the tree, and they never practice that shot. So make sure you're practicing shooting from elevation, and make sure you're practicing those close shots as well as those farther away shots and those intermediate shots. And then also make sure you're not just always practicing a broadside shot unless you're only comfortable taking a broadside shot, but don't by any means take a quartering away shot if you've never practiced one. So you're definitely going to want to practice those types of shots too this time of year. And of course, we want to just keep doing that repeatedly up until the season and through the season if you have an opportunity to do so. So lastly, I want to talk about our hunter ingress and egresses from our stands and our blinds. So again, a lot of stuff's grown up, a lot of grasses. You want to get those as cleaned out as you can get them. You don't want any part of your body to be brushing against any branches or sticks, anything that you would leave a little bit of extra scent on. You want to make sure that all of that stuff is cleared out of those trails. And so the other thing you would want to consider too is if you're in like a rockier area, something that maybe your boot always scuffs on a rock, if you can get that rock out of there, great chance to do that this time of year too. Sometimes, just get in there with a mower or a weed whacker. I had to get in and do a little maintenance on my hunter ingress and egress. You'll see that, but mine's a little special. So what I actually did was did all the work on it to get it fixed up. And then I went in and with actually glyphosate and 2,4-D and sprayed it down. So I'm gonna kill off everything and get down to bare dirt in there again to make sure that I am absolutely silent and absolutely scent free getting in and out of that stand this year. So if you guys feel like you got some value out of this video, go ahead, hit that like button. Leave me a comment down below, weird stuff you guys have found in your blinds. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And if you really enjoyed this video, YouTube thinks you're gonna enjoy this one. And if you wanna see that data-driven water for food plots video, it's right here. I'll catch you guys on the next one.